What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Snap It Sold's Today Show, episode
93.
That's right, mathematician to my right, because I can
Finally
never,
got it right.
ever remember to save my life. And
Well, when we're this far in, it's kind of easy to forget.
yes, it is. So, episode 93, guys, and I thought let's take Hannah out somewhere special to celebrate our 93rd episode. But since we're outside in a park, Heritage Park to be specific, every time we see a squirrel, she freaks out and loses concentration. So, with that being said, this is the 95th take we've done here at the park, and I'm not kidding. I may be over exaggerating just a little. So on episode 93, guys, we're gonna attack the elephant in the room, which is one of my favorite phrases to use because we are seeing right now, as we've been seeing it, right? It's been something that's been building up.
Right. It's been a topic of discussion for a while.
And that is the shifting of the real estate market, right? Not a shift against the sellers or against the buyers or a crash of the market.
It's the perfect in between.
It's the perfect in between, and we're right there where we have to address it now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's our job, is to counsel and advise you guys in the direction, and we are in the midst of seeing that shift come to light, right? We're seeing that inventory is growing. Now we are still below what we need in the downriver area, so to speak, to have a balanced market. So we're still seeing that homes are selling a little bit quicker, not as fast.
Right, and not as overpriced.
Not as overpriced.
Which we'll be getting to focus on a little bit.
Right. So, but we are seeing that inventory grow nonetheless, slowly but surely. Mm-hmm. And I heard this the other day from an expert in the business, been doing it for a long time. A good way to look at the market is, it's not necessarily that houses are depreciating, is that the housing market is decelerating, okay? Now, both words really close to each other, but there's a big difference between them. Depreciating means that home values are going down, which is absolutely incorrect in any market, in the United States anyway. And decelerating means that at the rate of which home values are increasing are obviously slowing down, so we're decelerating. We're still gonna see, and I am very, very adamant about this, at least a 5% appreciation as we move forward. And that's gonna be a more healthy market, right? $30,000 or 20-30% appreciation over a year is just incredibly unhealthy and unstable for our market. It's insane, right? So remember the difference between depreciating and decelerating, right? The market needs to decelerate a little bit. We're seeing that inventory that is growing, so we know now that buyers have more options. And what does that tell us? When buyers have more options, they don't have to be as aggressive with their purchase offers. They have it in their minds that they can shop. They don't have to go with the first turkey they see on Thanksgiving. Right. High five to that. Because this is good. This is good for both our sellers and for our buyers, right? Because sellers need to be able to sell their property and have confidence that they can find another home, right?
Right.
And buyers,
because that was a huge struggle for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and so it wasn't good for either side. It was good in the sense of a seller wanted to make a lot of money and didn't have to worry about finding another place to go, and it was horrible for buyers because they had to give up the entire farm to get the house, right? The entire farm.
Not just the chickens, not just the geese.
All of it.
I don't think you keep geese in. Okay, anyways. We're getting on topic here.
So, and the reason that we're having this discussion, because obviously we've given you guys market updates. We've been telling you what we think the market was going to do, and it's doing exactly that. Mm-hmm. But now we want to talk about the pieces that fit into the puzzle, right? Because real estate is one big puzzle set that we got to put together. Mm-hmm. And we're speaking more to our sellers at this point, but also at the same time we're kind of looking out for our buyers too. Yes. So me and Hannah, even throughout the midst of this crazy market where we could have told our sellers, you don't have to do anything.
Right.
We'll just list it,
sell it.
We'll market it, and it'll sell. And it'll sell like this.
And it would have.
And it was. They were happening.
Right.
But me and Hannah still, even in the beginning, we were like, we want to do the absolute best to get your house sold for the most money.
Right.
So marketing, making sure everything's up to code and stuff like that.
Yes.
We're going to do everything in our power to position your home so it will win. And there'd be no reason for a buyer to try to negotiate, and either way you look at it, buyers are always going to try to do what they can. It's their job, right? Everybody wants a good deal. But more importantly now, it is way more important that we educate our sellers on the fact that we have to look at those pieces and realize that with the market shifting, we have to use those pieces more aggressively than we used to.
Right. Pull them out first, rather than pulling them out in glass.
So our topic this week is certificate of occupancy, and we've talked about certificate of occupancy, I think, in like the 30s. Our episodes around the 30s.
Somewhere around there.
there. So we explained to you guys what certificate of occupancy is, and we're going to do it one more time just for the sake of the rest of this conversation.
Right. And the fact that maybe you guys didn't see our video about that.
So most cities in the downriver area, I know in other areas this isn't even heard of, but most cities in the downriver and surrounding areas have what's called a certificate of occupancy, certificate of compliance, and it is necessary for the purchase of the home, right? Because once the buyer takes and they go down to the city to file their transfer affidavit and their PRE, the city's going to say, hey, where's your certificate of occupancy, right? Certificate of occupancy is where the city comes to the property and they do the inspection. 9 times out of 10, unless it's a new build, right, they're going to flag different things with the house that needs to be repaired before they'll grant that certificate of occupancy to the new purchaser.
Right. Because they want to make sure that these houses are up to code, they're not caving in, and then somebody else is going to move in and then something catastrophic happens.
Yeah, and we see it from both sides. We see why the seller would be like, why do I have to satisfy the city so I can sell my asset? The thing is you're in a city, right? You're in a city of homes that are, for the most part, unless you're in Monroe or, you're lucky enough to be on an acre of property or separated, and that's the point. You're close to other homes, and there's things over time, codes, they change, right? There's electrical hazards that aren't safe anymore, even if it used to be safe for some reason, even though it really wasn't safe.
Right, we just didn't know better.
So these are the cities are not being vindictive, sometimes in the reports that they are, but what they're trying to do is make sure as time progresses, we're making sure homes are still safe for the new people, and we're just going with the flow, right? We're trying to make sure that people are safe. So, but the concept behind the certificate of occupancy is that, let's say that you as the seller of the property decide that you don't want to deal with any of that, you don't want to deal with the city. Back in 2020, 2021, 2022, you were able to say, buyer to assume all repairs, I want nothing to do with it, and your house would still sell and still sell at a great price. Now with the shift coming into place, right, that's happening, if we're still doing that, we're going to see that we're giving buyers some leg, right? We're giving them the opportunity to say, well, if I have to assume the repairs, I'm going to offer you less. Or the fact that there's more inventory now, I get to go shop for a different house that may have that certificate of occupancy or certificate of compliance. So, Hannah, we made it a good practice from the beginning to get our sellers on the page of understanding why having that C of O, even in a great market, in a great seller's market, is still good to have. So we have one less thing that we have to worry about a buyer
coming back
badgering us down.
Right? We don't want no negotiating. We do, but we don't. Not when it comes to the price and dropping it down.
Yep.
Because of this and because and that and we try to avoid that. We want the most bang for our seller's buck.
And you should want to. Throughout the real estate process, there's always going to be something that's going to happen. It's not supposed to be an easy process, right? On either side. Sometimes it's really, really skate through, lollyland, all you want, but it's not. The certificate of occupancy is huge for, just making sure you get the most money. And I'm going to hammer that down on everybody. So, and the purpose of this video was to explain that to you guys and the importance of, elevating both buyers and sellers at what we're coming into.
Right. Trying to understand exactly what the real estate market's doing, because everybody has been talking about this, talking about that, talking about this, and this is what we're seeing, this is what we know is going on, and and this is how it's gonna probably stay for the rest of the year. We're thinking, we don't know, but
we're like slowly,
you can see
we're getting into that in between moment, right? Where we were so used to a 3-year span where it was just as simple, it was cut and dry. It was buyers had to give up the farm and sellers could do whatever they want and still get their house sold. We're going to come into it, and we need this change. But we need to make sure that the people that were so used to a norm to be able to adjust back and understand that we're going to have to give a little to get a little. Right. That's the whole concept behind it. And there are many other pieces to be able to position the seller so that they can win even in a shifting market, right? It's not just certificate of occupancy, but that is one of the biggest things that I think come to light from a buyer perspective that would affect how they decide on their offer price to you and the terms of their purchase agreement and how they want to purchase your home. And there's different pieces, right? There's the inspection period. There's many different things, appraisal guarantees, appraisal gaps. those are all going to come into play and be a little bit different now that we're shifting into this market. But now that we're getting off topic a little bit and pondering into those other pieces to the puzzle, which we'll talk about more as we move forward into this changing market. But that's it, guys. So highlight of the video: the market's not depreciating; it's decelerating, slowing down a little bit as far as home values. And certificate of occupancy is huge for a seller to gain that momentum and keep their leverage in the negotiating.
Right. Because we've noticed not too many people are doing it. So if you are that one house that is doing it, of course you're going to have a flock of people more than likely wanting to see your home over the ones where they're going to have to, before they can even move in and purchase the home, do a bunch of repairs. Nobody wants to do that. That's a scary situation. So that's another,
I think a lot of scary things for sellers and why they don't want to deal with the cities is because it's like going to the DMV, right? You don't want to deal with any municipality. You don't want to deal with the state. You want to avoid them at all costs, and it's understandable.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, when you sell your home, you want to make money.
Right.
More money, preferably.
Do you want to deal with something small and irritating for a little bit, or do you want more money?
Right. More money, less problems. I don't like that song, More Money, More Problems. We know it's more money, less problems. Right. When you go to the casino, do you want that extra $10,000 because you took care of the certificate of occupancy, or do you want it for an item list? And now I'm rambling into that, but a list of items on the report that could have maybe cost us $800.
Right.
Puts you in a position where you made $10,000 less because the buyer had that opportunity to negotiate that. Right. So. Anyway, before we prolong this video, I'm going to go jump in this pond because the summer is ending and I refuse to accept that winter's on its way in.
I hate the word.
I know. I didn't even say the W word or the S word. No.
No, none of that for a while.
Last but not least, guys, it is Labor Day. I hope everybody has, Labor Day is Monday, right? Yeah. We're recording this on...
We're recording it on a Thursday,
right?
Because we're going up north this weekend.
Going up north. Story of our lives. We're going up north every single weekend we possibly can before the cold officially sets in. But hopefully everybody had a great Labor Day, or you're having
a great Labor Day, right?
Having a great Labor Day. But that's going to wrap up our week. You guys have a great rest of your week. As always, it costs $0 and 0 cents to be a decent human being in this world. We'll see you guys on the next episode.